let's visit, if we can, as we bid this week goodbye. What a weird fucking week. This is Brandon Howse, the guy who's been picking Mike Pillow's pocket for years. And then there's just this guy who's on his way to his arraignment for toddler's clothes found in his in a knapsack under his seat when he's supposed to be 500 yards away from any school. And of course, senior fellow at the Dickens Institute. I don't know who these guys are. This is a fair election. This is their response to. They're still grinding on 2020. A fair election is not predictable, and a predictable election is not fair. Zing. And by the way, yeah, they are. I mean, if you back a loser like Donald Trump, you're shocked that he loses, that has nothing to do with anybody else's prediction. That's you being dumb. All right, here we go.
Got it, and we got it working. Fingerprintsoffraud.com is...
Fingerprintsoffraud.com. They bought this? Oh, boy.
Now working. We got that to work. We got it here.
We got it to work. Good for you. Welcome to 1990s technology.
Fingerprintsoffraud.com. We also are working to get it back at frankspeech.com. We had it on frankspeech.com. There was a computer update done, and it got misplaced, and we're...
Oh, no. The fingerprints got misplaced, or what? All the data, all the info about the fraud we put it in the wrong thing. It was under... I had it in... You ever use, like, old coffee tins, and you put it in there, and then you're like, oh, my God, I made coffee out of my hidden info.
Working right now.
And I drank it.
Get it back up there. So here, very soon, we should have it in the next few minutes back at frankspeech.com as a banner toward the top of the page. But in the meantime, fingerprintsoffraud.com. All right, let's go to this report here by Jeff. We went through it the other night.
Oh, wait. Hold on. This report was put together by Jeff? You didn't... Just Jeff. All right.
I don't know.
This is kind of amazing. I didn't realize they had giant organizations like Jeff.
I don't want to repeat too much of what we went through the other night.
Yeah, please don't, because I forgot to give a fuck today, and I'm at very little after that whole Gutfeld clip. I've checked out entirely. I'm numb.
I mean, it is 282 pages, so it's
of Jeff magic.
It's not like we covered it all in 20 minutes. What particularly would you, Dr. Walter Doherty, like to highlight about the report? Because we know Jeff has been involved in this. I don't know if you were involved in.
Yeah, we know Jeff is all up in this shit, but Dr. Doherty
or not. But what did?
Yeah, but put on the parking brake, Jeff.
Did you see in this report that caught your eye that you'd like to talk about?
Well, the point that Jeff made, that a fair election is not predictable, and a predictable election is not fair, is kind of a thread that runs all the way through this report.
Yeah, but that is genuinely dumb. You can have you can absolutely predict the outcome of a fair election when it's an obvious win or an obvious lose on so many fronts, and there was no point where Biden was like, I'm not even going to pay attention. We know we know we won.
So
I'm just going to show up on the 21st and take the oath. I mean, I don't even have to look.
If you, I don't have the page number, but if you...
Yeah, it's not important. Just riff.
You can find one of the cones, like Mesa County, Colorado was one of the first ones in the report. When you have limits of statistical limits of what the expected value is, then you can assign a probability of something being inside those limits or being outside the limits.
Yeah, especially if you're using only the primary numbers and extrapolating them onto a general election, or using even a singular party's statistics and extrapolating that onto a election, or indeed taking the election numbers from a previous election where everybody was allowed and able to show up regularly and people didn't have the access to vote by mail the way they did this time around, and participation was high because people had fuck all to do. But, you know, statistically speaking, you can't factor in the current reality. It's just we're assuming trends not from the time before when we lost, but from the time we won forward. That once we start winning, we keep winning. That's the statistical baseline we're operating from.
So we see this every summer on the hurricane tracking.
Oh dear.
So you look at the weather and they say,
yes, and the weather's never off.
Right now the hurricane is here, and that is 100% certain. 24 hours from now, it's going to be between here and here. Well, that's a range. And 48 hours from now, it's going to be between here and here. And 2 weeks from now, it's going
Yeah, especially if you have a Sharpie and you could just draw wherever you want it to go.
to be somewhere between Maine and Florida. So
yeah, that's not how it works. But
what we're looking at in the cone graphs.
Also, I don't know if this asshole knows this, but when it comes to a hurricane, there are trillions of moving parts. Some that are, quite frankly, untrackable, that have to do with the Earth's magnetic field and solar energy and all kinds of other stuff. That is not the amount of voters available in an area, how often they normally vote, how much they voted in this particular election because everybody was just at home and they were able to mail in their vote, especially in Colorado.
Which are at the beginning of his report, some of the first graphs, is the statistical limits for a cumulative random sample.
I feel like an accumulative random sample right now.
And this is why polling works. This is why quality control works.
Wait a minute. If polling works, then somebody's able to predict a fair election because we've had them before, allegedly. Wasn't Trump elected?
Is that if you take a random sample that's representative of the whole, then whatever measurements you make on that random sample will be the same as if you had actually counted everything.
Juicy. I'm right.
No. Not at fucking all. This is, and this, by the way, this goes to, they go to a fucking Republican county and everybody should be Republicans. They should, I mean, if the world was sane, everybody would have voted for Trump. You could tell from the numbers. We asked everybody in the bar that was wearing a MAGA hat who they were going to vote for. 100%. 100%. And then on election day, he only gets 60%. What the fuck? Oy. The only good thing about that is this this entire clip just robbed Mike Pillow's pocket of like at least $100,000.